So, what do you prefer? Century or Jerr-Dan? We fortunately have both, so I want to give my pros and cons on what I like about Century and what I like about Jerr-Dan. And the reason why I didn't purchase a new Century is because they had said it would be a year and 2 months to a year and a half before they could build me a truck. I called several dealers. All they wanted to do was sell me what they had. So when we first started back in 1996, we had Jerr-Dan. They were local to us as far as a dealer. So that's what we purchased, and we had Jerr-Dan all the way up until 22 when we purchased this truck with a Century. It was used, had 50,000 miles on it, and then the following year we ordered a brand new truck from them, and that truck took a year. So this go around we couldn't wait. So this is what we ended up with. This particular truck was built at Crouch's. The 21 that we had specced out and built was built at Crouch's also. This truck was built at Fitzgerald. We just tried to stay, Tennessee, try to support people in our area. Let's get started. So what I like about the Jerr-Dan, and we'll start with bed holes. What I like about it is you have 3 down the side, and this is their dual angle bed, and this is Miller's SST bed. So I'll get into why we have these, and I just got this one by chance and ended up really liking it. So the way these are laid out, I like them a lot. They help with wheel straps. So this Century has less, but it also has one kind of, I don't know how, I guess in the corner they don't. So another big thing, Miller has this center hole. It helps tremendously. It's got a place for their snatch block that we have. If you know about it, it's a great piece. You go over here, Jerr-Dan doesn't have it. So that took some getting used to. Their bed rails, aluminum bed rail is a 1-piece. Miller's is a 2-piece, Century. Underneath, the end of the bed is just a 3/8 or 1/2 inch, just a little thin piece with a bunch of supports. So this is probably the main reason why they didn't put the center hole in. I don't know. I wish it would have had a center hole. I'd actually bought a bit to drill a center hole and then realized how this was enclosed. So I'm not doing that. Century's is a thick flat plate. I don't know, probably a foot. And then they gusset it here with another plate. So you literally have, I think this is 3/8. You have 3/8 of an inch touching the ground, and that's it. It's smooth out here. You literally have this much when you got the bed on the ground. So this is the problem I found with the Jerr-Dan. So you got a 1/2 inch piece instead of 3/8, but you also have the edge of the bed right here. So when you set the truck bed on the ground, it's 1 3/4 inches. This never even comes close to touching the ground. You're all the way out here. So it's not comparable whenever you see this to this. I'm kind of upset about this. I didn't know it when I ordered the truck. These beds are braced better than these beds. This angle right here is longer and less of an angle than this one. But another huge thing, they made a plate that bolts in to keep any tire or any part of a car from catching right here. It's almost like a wear plate, so this doesn't get caught and bent. They don't have one. They just have a little kick up. I've had stuff get hung in here. I mean, you know, you can't always catch everything. That was a big issue. Jerr-Dan does give you the option for a cylinder on a wheel lift to set the entire wheel lift on the ground. I honestly forgot about it, so I didn't ask about it, so it wasn't put on the truck. They don't have that option. It's just stationary in the rear with adjustable on the height. These beds are rolled under. This is a piece of, almost like a half a piece of box tubing that's split, kind of like a piece of C-channel. This is just a piece of flat steel. It does have a strap rail underneath. This side doesn't, but I never go, well, I don't know if this is a strap rail or a wiring rail, but they tell me on this one's a strap rail. Another cool thing about them, where the stationary headache rack goes, they bolted this plate in. Safety chain is bolted here, and then you have a chain hook over here. They just left it open. I'm gonna cut a piece of plate out on my plasma table, and I want to do the same thing, or put a D-ring or something right here and bolt this in. You know, I like things to look good, and this looks just unfinished. So as far as your T-slots, chain slots go up here, you're good on the way it hooks. Whenever you try to hook anything in here, you can't. That's as far as it'll go. You can come in over here and it does fine, but underneath there's a brace right here and there's a brace right here. So this type of hook, it doesn't work. You have to use the chains in here specifically. So these straps, I sent the others back. I'm going to use these on my other truck, and I'll have to use the drop-in style. Another issue that came about, grab this old snatch block. So you got a snatch block over here. You want to pull from the middle of the bed. Fits in here, no issues. Fits in the end of the bed, no issues. So you come over here to the Jerr-Dan. Great. Fits great. Perfect size. You need to pull from here. Doesn't happen. You can't. Can't do it on this one either, and it's in the center. Can't do it here. I understand not everybody pulls from there, and you're not necessarily supposed to. So, which I have a bigger chain block for this truck over here, but this is your option. You have to use a snatch block with a chain. So, I mean, 99% of the time we use one in the center to hold the winch cable straight, and then we'll pull off whatever end we need to. But that's just something else, you know, something else you have to keep. And it's not always you've got time to put the other block on, and I don't like keeping them on the bed. What else? We can't compare headache racks because this is a stationary and this truck has a side puller. So both of these have Ramseys. I'm not for sure what style Ramsey this is, but this winch will absolutely try to pull this truck apart. this Ramsey is the weakest winch I have ever had on any truck we've ever owned. It is terrible. It's rated at 10,000 pounds. It's not even remotely close to 10,000 pounds. It's more like a 5,500 pound winch, so I'm not super happy about that. What else? What else? This bed is 22 feet. It's 22 feet from here to the end. This bed was advertised at 22 feet. It's 21 feet 6 inches from the end of the bed to there. And I know I may have a few people say something about, well, this is a 26 model, this is a 20 model, but nothing's really changed on these. Got a couple family members with a wrecker service and got a buddy with a brand new one. There's not enough changes to even show that's going to make a big difference in the video that I'm trying to do. Hydraulic tank mid-center, hydraulic tank outboard. As far as I remember, these have always been outboard. Big, huge, giant, makes all the difference in the world thing is locks. So this bed, the bed comes all the way up to here. It sits all the way in the locks. They hold great. On one of our old trucks, if you got the bed in a bind, you would catch these and tear these. No big deal. We never had a problem out of this setup. It was just here and there, after a lot of use, these would get caught and break off. They're cheap. These locks, I've welded them 4 times. It barely catches the end of the bed. And once this has wire in it, it bounces. So I've had to slot these holes more and scoot these down. Like, this is the worst design ever. Whenever they get bent in, because they will bend in, it tears the wheels up. So I don't care for that. One good thing about the Century, they use inboard cylinders and a very, very heavy, very reinforced cylinder mount. Very heavy, very reinforced. We've never had an issue out of these. Jerr-Dan, which they've changed these, they seem to be shorter. They're outboard. They've always been outboard that I know of. They will seize this pin because they're greaseless. Oh, look at those cool spacers. Anyway, they will seize this pin. When this pin seizes, it will fold this bracket, just absolutely fold it up. We've had that happen before. We've had the end of the cylinder break on one. I hope this is revised by now. So another big obvious thing, the subframe is the whole length on these. The subframe on these is very short, which I think it makes a big old difference. I really feel like this is stronger. It's just, I mean, by looking at it. I do like they have wear pads on the frame here for the bed to sit down on. The subframe sits down on the frame here and here, and it is outboard. Don't have to worry about it, but like I said, the lock thing's terrible. And this truck needs washed. It's worked all weekend. I apologize. All this is soft line all the way down. They run these cylinders down the main cylinder. This is soft line to right here, and then it's hard line all the way back. But they use hard lines from the winch back and a couple other places. So they've adapted this. I don't remember this being hard line. This subframe welded to the end hangs halfway down the back. My 96 model was kind of built like this. This side welded on the end, pin off the back. It's just a little different. The subframe seems to be more outboard on these. This is not as far outboard, so not a huge difference there. The bags are not dumped on these trucks, so I know you're supposed to dump the bags for you, yada yada yada. Anyway, I just wanted to show the angle. There is just a tiny bit of height difference here. There's not a huge deal here, but the big fuss that I have, like I said, and I know I'm probably boring y'all, but if I would have known this, I probably would have made a different decision. Literally, except for the ground being uneven, flat on the ground, there is a huge 1.5 inch gap. And it's even worse when you dump the bags and you're on a flat surface, because the angle of the bottom doesn't seem to be correct and it kicks the end of the bed up. But as far as the way they are, it's not enough difference to make me go, oh, this 1.5 degrees or 3 degrees or whatever it is going to make me sway this way or this way. They both have their pros, they both have their cons. Like I said, I wish I could take both of them and make my own. This is the tray that holds the hoses and the wiring. It's like almost like a machine tray with a little like dozer track in it with the lines in it. These wear pads, transmission fluid, told me to wipe them down, put transmission fluid on them. Don't put any grease. So that's kind of what I've done. Even on the old ones, the cylinder stuck way out. No big deal. It just kind of moves around. I guess it's on rubber pads. I've not had one of these cylinders out in 20 years, I guess. But this will give you a view of kind of how a Jerr-Dan is. And these are Phoenix boxes. All of these are 21. Has the 9,000 pound in the ditch, and it has in the ditch boxes. They serve their purpose, but I like the other ones better. I do not like the Jerr-Dan side puller. That's why this truck was built with this. So that's for another video. So the Century, this is what I was talking about, being so much beefier on the cylinders. As far as the tilt cylinders, like this is 3 times the cylinder mounts as those. But I mean, we've never had those break on the subframe. They always broke at the bottom. So I'm sure there's issues with these at some point. We just hadn't had any. But there's just a huge difference in everything. So I don't know, I just felt I needed to make this video to help people look. I know I ramble, I know my voice isn't entertaining, but I'm just showing you what I know and what I don't know. So I built those trays, didn't really want to pay the money. I've built a set of trays for these, but I have to change the angle because of the way the ends of the bed are made. So pretty soon I'll have a set of those trays on this. And I know these Miller beds are bad about catching the trays and breaking them, yada yada, but I've got that figured out. So we're gonna mount a set of these on this old truck, and that's it. You know, if you got any questions or if you want to see any other part of the trucks that I haven't shown, I'll be glad to do another video. I think this might be, you know, the beginning of one thing, and then we'll go farther on the trucks, maybe the differences between this body style and this body style. So thank y'all for checking it out, and have a good day.